Hello, here's a game that I had in the STA-1 on Mountain Pass. Um, Mountain Pass, what you'll see a lot of people do is obviously go kind of the H3, J3 corner. Most of the time heavy tanks that can go fast and medium tanks like myself. I think that pushing the 8-9 line across the ice road is kind of pointless. I think a lot of times you end up just camping that corner and often getting arty'd, and that's not really useful. I think what might be better there is either to wait kind of where the T-29 is now, or the Tiger II, with just like one TD or something, and wait for the enemies to push if they do. Bridge is also kind of stagnant, and where I'm going now is pretty good for getting early shots. So it's kind of exposed to arty as well and some TDs, but it's also good for getting shots on light tanks and people like this RHM. My first shot unfortunately tracks him. I thought that would do damage as well because anything I hit behind the tracks is auto pen, even for this gun. And the T-49 there, I actually don't get spotted by that guy quite yet. I thought I would, but I mean, STA camo must be pretty good. I take one more blind shot at the RHM, and I consider going for the T-49. I think I actually do put one more shot into him, or at least one shot into him. I stop here to kind of think about what to do next. I also may have been on TeamSpeak, but our 7-8 line is pushing, which we'll see how that works out for them. I finally wake up and go for this T-49. I only really want to put one shot into him because I know that the RHM is still over there somewhere. So I put one into him and I realize that I'm getting pushed behind me. We don't really have a lot of people over here, but it turns out to be okay. Try and get one shot into the Centurion as he's passing, but I've played like 27k games in World of Tanks and I still have no clue where that rock is. Try again, and that one was a bit closer. Even with the fairly good snapshotting capabilities of the STA, I wasn't able to get that one in. Track him there, but he repairs, and I consider going for the I6, and it's a tough shot, so I just back to the Centurion. More valuable target anyway. I should point out that this was on my grind to the third mark. I still haven't gotten it yet, but this was an amazing game, and it brought me up about it brought me up like 1.3, maybe 1.5% even. I'm looking for a shot on this I6, and I managed to make it, but still getting pushed by quite a few tanks over here. I get shot by the RHM. I knew that was coming, I just didn't want to spoil it. Again, trying to get a shot here on this T-29. It's not going to work. Just not quite enough room there. The T-49 and the T-32 that have pushed up into the middle are dying, so I don't need to go back there. T-30, I thought he was around here somewhere, but he finds me, but he misses his shot, so that's good. T-29 is not looking at me, so I know I can get at least one free shot into him, but that was an extremely badly taken shot. I should have actually just waited for the track shot there. Okay, beta shot and put another one into him. And once this guy runs away, this is where I turn around and start dealing with the stuff in the middle. I can see that they've got a T-32, it looks like, under the bridge, a T-29 and a T-28 prototype on the bridge. And they're going to be kind of a problem for the people pushing the 7-8 line. And even though I don't think pushing 7-8 is a really good idea, I should try and help them. It's a pretty good team effort thing. So just kind of next few minutes, just kind of sniping away at these guys. Pick up the kill on that guy. I miss a shot there. It's kind of unfortunate. Poorly aimed, but I just decided to auto-aim these because even though the shell velocity on this gun is really terrible, T-28 prototype is really slow. So back in normal time, I see that the RHM is pushed down, so I know it's a good time to go pick up the kill on these two guys. That was another poor shot there. I don't think auto-aim was the culprit there, it was just bad RNG. That was almost a miss, unfortunately. I take a look behind me, just to see what's there, if anything's pushing. I decided to just go for the Yag Panther, even though the T-32 is a more valuable target. I think that if I can just kill this guy quick and easily, then it might be worth it. So I pick up the kill, and I notice the Oho and the Comet behind me are pushing the T-29 and T-30. I'm not really worried about the T-29 dying, but the T-30 is going to be a challenge for them to deal with, and I think I'm going to have to help them out at some point. more auto aim. Not really a bad thing to do in this case. The shot that I don't auto aim goes into the turret because that's where I aimed it. And just putting more easy shots into the back of this guy. I really, come to think of it, and I thought about this at the game during the game, turning around and helping this Oho sooner, but I don't. And this T-29 is about to make a mistake. It's very good that I did not take the shot there. That was good. That was a good call to hold the shot. So I back up, find his rear, get a pretty lucky shot there. Now I'm going to turn around and finish off this T-32. The T-30 and the Oho behind me should be all right for a little longer. And our 7-8 line force has completely died. Of course, I low roll on the T-32. It would be okay to load HE there, but I didn't really think of it. And the T-30 just fired, so I start loading heat because I really need to make every one of these shots count. Even though AP is really good on this tank, I think I might need a few heat shells here. So I have time to put one into the T-30, and I mess it up. I shoot the one part of him that I can't really shoot. I try and catch his track there, and I don't, but I do put the shot into him. I know I'm going to take this hit, and I know that I can afford to. Put another shell into him, and I'm starting to load AP again, because like I said, I know I can pen this guy no problem. So, go for him again, and I'm only going to need one more shot to kill him. Scores are even right now, and I make the kill. Only one left is the Tiger 2. Now, at the time, I didn't know how much health he was on, and it turns out he's on about 800, so this T-49 and I are going to have to work together to win the game. I would coordinate and chat with him, but I feel like, well, first of all, I don't have chat on. I don't really play with it on very often. And the other thing is, I think I can communicate fairly well with pings and such. He initially does what I think is the right call here. He goes up the hill, but then he starts falling back and going up the middle towards the bridge. I ping the map, tell him probably should go back on the hill, and I tell him to follow me. The reason I think going into the hill in this case is pretty good is not only just because it gives you good shots on base, but it also gives you vision across the kind of the middle of the map here. It gives you a little bit on the bridge here, but it also gives you really good vision down here. So, I'm gonna speed the replay up a little bit because we don't see him for a few minutes. The T-49 eventually does start coming back this way, and he looks like he's gonna load an HE shell or heat or something. And I've loaded back into the heat because, again, I just want to make all these shots count. Heat has already proven to be kind of a bad idea through parts of this game, as it did just there. I hit a super angled part of his side armor. And the T-49, who was behind me, I don't know, looking for the Tiger 2 over there, I guess. So I put another shot into the Tiger 2, and now I have the kill. Got the kill on the Tiger 2, and obviously, like I said, heat was a really poor decision in this case, because I had his upper plate, and I missed the front of his turret there, probably hit his gun mantlet or the angled side of his turret. And I go for the commander's hatch, but he pulls back, and my shot goes wide anyway. So anyway, really, I can't do a whole lot from here. What I try and do is break contact and then go to a slightly different place. And I end up spotting him there. And I try and do the same thing, kind of go to a different spot, but the T-49 picks up the kill. And we win the game. Too bad I couldn't get the Radley Walters, but I'm not really concerned about that. It was a good game. I ended up doing, I think it was about 6,000 damage in all. A lot of that came from, obviously, the people down in the middle here. Namely the T-32, the RHM, the Ag Panther. Things like that really helped my damage. But also, I think the thing that won us the game was knowing to kill the T-32 and when he had fired. Obviously, I could have done it a little more surgically. I sort of put one shot into his tracks when I shouldn't have, and it was heat. I was a little bit more liberal with the heat this game than I probably should have been. But there were a few shots, like on the Tiger 2, that I think couldn't have penned with AP, even though I was shooting down at his lower plate. T-49 obviously was a really good asset to have in the end of the game, because once I put the Tiger 2 onto a one-shot for the T-49, the T-49 was able to kill him without even penetrating his armor. So I think one of the things that separates a good player from a great player is knowing the reloads of your enemies. And like I said, I think that's the reason we won this game, because I was able to kill that T-30, only taking 1 hit of damage instead of 2. I made the push, and I made the kill. So, pretty good game. Thank you for watching, and I will see you. Here's a game that I had on Fisherman's Bay with Dan and Killswitch. Originally, the game doesn't start very well, but it gets pretty interesting as it goes on. I'm going to speed it up right quick. This was from when I was in Relish. I didn't think this was that long ago, but maybe it was. So this is my favorite spot to go on Fisherman's Bay. I really think it gives you good control over the middle, and you got this bush and this house here to give you cover from both arty and concealment from tanks that go down here. Like, it won't help you much with light tanks with really good view range, but it also affords you shots on people like the Conqueror down there. Dan gets a really nice one in there. He's playing his M4A1. He really likes that tank. I think he's going to get 3 marks soon. I told him he couldn't, but he's going to prove me wrong. And Killswitch is playing his Type 62. He's over there spotting things and getting cheap shots. So I blocked Dan here. It's one of my favorite things to do in World of Tanks, is block my platoon mates when they're trying to get shots. That shot was, I think, to take down the remainder of that hut. There's a house there, like a little shed type thing, and it always gets in my way. It's really irritating. So I just take it down, and we start going to work on this IS-8. So again, blocking my platoon mates. I don't know why I shot this there. I'm pretty sure I bumped my mouse into my keyboard. Not really anything out of the ordinary this game. They have committed a lot of stuff, pretty much all of their top tiers, minus the T-54, to the city, which is alright with me. Fortunately, we only have 1 tier 9 in the city, so it's not a huge commitment for our tier 9s. I think the city is really stagnant on this map, and the middle is really the place to go. You'll find that the middle on a lot of maps is really good, and just flexing from there is how you get good results. So just still taking little pot shots at the T10. I'm going to have to remember not to call the thing an IS-8 because it's reminds me quite a lot of that. I mean, it is kind of an IS-8, just different with the hull. I'm actually not sure their M103 has been lit yet. Yeah, he has. He has at the back of the city. I go over here now, and this is kind of in the middle of the field, and it's kind of exposed, but it does afford you some pretty good shots at people like this Oni. This is only after they've pushed through the city, though. And I don't do this very often because a lot of the times you'll find that the opposing side, the one that we're against, not our side, loses the city, and Killswitch just about takes the hit for the Oni there. And the T10 puts one into me, but it's not going to matter. Well, it will kind of matter, but it doesn't matter so much at the end of this game. So I get an amazingly good shot there. A bit lucky, but a little bit of predictive work there. And I catch the Black Prince's track. So I'm pretty sure I'm not lit right now. Oh, well, now I am. Because there is that bush in front of me. And I take a moment to dispatch this T-71. Give a little bit of wiggle there so he doesn't really know what I'm doing. And there we go. Killswitch does take the shot. Hey. He likes to block teammates too. But it's okay. We keep him around. I'm trying to pick up a shot on this T-37, and I almost do hit him. Pretty much anywhere I hit that guy, it's going to be an auto pen, but hitting him's the problem. Same deal there, but just rushing my shots a little bit. The STA actually does have fairly good snapshotting accuracy, but it's not really doing many favors right now. It's also not doing our arty favors because he's just about to die. Yeah, there he goes, which is too bad because the M53, oh my god. You know, I half-aimed all these shots, and then the one that I take on the move at 400 meters I hit. It's too bad that we lost that arty because those M53s are really overpowered. as far as arty goes. Um, and having him at the end of the game would have been really good. So kill switch distracts this M103, and I start putting some shots into him. I don't even need heat right now because this thing's pen is just really, really good. Put one into his turret side, and this Conqueror is spamming chat. I remember this now. But I think sooner or later I'm going to blacklist him, so that'll stop. I think right after I kill this M103. It's unfortunate because I think I have chat off during this game. Maybe I don't. Uh, but it wouldn't matter because spamming the map doesn't rely on whether or not you have chat on. So now I'm a one-shot for everything, and I tell Dan, I'm like, okay, get out of the way. If somebody's taking a hit here, it's you. Because he's the only one really on our team that's got a lot of health left. 1390 does. And our CDC can theoretically take a hit, but kills a one-shot. The Leo PTA was a one-shot. And again, I apologize for this Conqueror spamming. I think here's where I start looking for his name so I can blacklist him. I actually can't really find him at first because all of the pings were in the way, so I had to kind of look closely. And I finally do get the blacklist off, which is probably one of the things that won us this game, because if that guy was doing that for the entire game, which I believe he was, and I saw it, that would have been really, really irritating and distracting. So I keep backing off and keeping my distance. Um, take a blind shot there at the Tiger. It doesn't look like it connects. And what's worrying me most right now, other than the T10's positioning, is the fact that their 430 is on a lot of health. He's full health. Get a good shot there into the Tiger, pull back, and all the while I'm kind of thinking about this T10's positioning. Pick up the kill on the Tiger. I'm high rolling quite nicely, actually, this game. Average is 240, and I'm rolling for about 250, 260. So my shot there in the M103, I'll put this back in fixed cam. I forgot I had it on free cam. My shots this game have been somewhat lucky, somewhat unlucky. A little bit of both, but with the high rolls, definitely lucky. Now, I kind of want to push this T10, but on the other hand, he's on a lot of health and we're not. So he fires there, and I don't think to go shoot him. I think he was retreating behind the building, and I wouldn't have gotten a shot anyway. I take a shot there on the move, more of just suppression rather than anything, and I realize I made kind of a mistake here. I should be moving back, not forward. Dan and Killswitch have taken up more sniping positions, which is, pretty much what you'll see from N4A1 Revelry. So I always see it as more of like a tank destroyer. So he's playing his role. I'm trying to play my role. CDC is maybe going to go on cap with the 1390. And there's the T10. I don't even bother shooting at him. I don't want to take a chance. Dan puts a good shot into him. And that's basically what we're doing now. My job isn't really to damage this guy. It's just to keep him lit for my friends. The Object 430 is pushing into our cap. Well, their cap, actually, to try and reset. And what I do is I start looking at the 430, but really keeping my eye on the T10. And this is one thing that I feel decides this game, how well I can play against two people at once. Try and damage the 430, but also keep an eye on this T10. And I start, carouseling around this building. I'm definitely faster than the T10, even while reversing. But I want to get out of here. So I noticed that the T10 has actually gone behind that little destructible building. And this is really cool what happens now. So I know I don't have a shot on him, but I see that Dan almost does. So what I do is I tell him, okay, well, get into a position where you can shoot him. And he does once. And now that the T10 has his attention on Dan, what I do, I wait till Dan is reloaded, and then I shoot down the house so that Dan has a clear shot into the T10. Now, I didn't realize this at the time, but the T10 was actually turning around anyway, so when I shot down the building, I could have killed him. So now it gets a bit boring. Only one of us has health, and only one of us has view range. Oh, and I remember now, Kill Switch actually crashed. His game crashed, so that's why he's not moving. Killswitch 95, I told him on a number of occasions he should rename his account to Windows 95 because he has more game crash issues than anybody I've ever played with. So I'm kind of floundering around here, don't know what to do. And I tell Dan, all right, so here's something that we can do. Let's go to their base, and I will try and spot. I don't know where the Black Prince is, but he's not a very big threat to me. I can take actually 2 hits from him, but the 430 is the one I'm worried about. And I think it's around now. Not only do I get spotted, but Dan also tells me that the 432 is borderline bot level skill. Like, we're talking Cabra right now. So I know that the 430 is a bad player, but I don't want to underestimate him because of that. I've lost a few games because I've underestimated the skill of my opponents, and that's really, really bad. It's very embarrassing. And we do technically have a firepower and numerical advantage right now, but we're 2 tier 8s and a tier 7 light tank. Speaking of which, Killswitch just logged back into the game. Usually it takes him a while, but he got in pretty quick this time. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to light things. They're trying to clear out the Black Prince, and I see this 430. So now I'm going to slow it back down, and I load the heat. That was a terrible shot. I really shouldn't have done that. And I pulled back behind the bush until it was opaque so I could, get the camo from the bush and not be lit. But I guess I didn't pull back far enough. And they found the Black Prince who's coming back. And so I see the 430 is looking at me, and he's angled his armor so I have a clear shot at his lower plate. I start loading the heat rounds, and that's why the first one bounced, because I loaded heat and I shot the track, unfortunately. So I'm no longer spotted, and I can go into this bush. And if he's a bot, then he's not going to be able to shoot me until I'm lit. If he's a bad player, he's not going to know how camo mechanics work, and I can just do this all day long. Now, he's moving, so I'm pretty confident that even though he's Russian, I can just take these shots at him, and he's not going to be able to hit me because I'm exposing very little of myself. And the Black Prince is just about to get relit, and I realize that I have a clean shot at him. Well, more or less clean. I missed the shot, the first one, because all I can really see is his turret, so not a very clean shot. And the 430 I can't see because the bush is in the way. Dan and Killswitch are trying to pincer the Black Prince, and I get a good shot at him. And here you can get an appreciation, or maybe not an appreciation, of the poor shell velocity of not only the heat shells, but also just of the STA gun in general. It's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of this gun, even though the pen is amazing and the snapshotting is pretty good. The shell velocity. If you've played a tank like the RU-251, you'll know that the shell velocity is one of the worst things about it. So what's going through my head now is, guys, we have to do this fast. We've got less than a minute left. So I put a shot into the 432. I miss the last shot. Kill's closing in. Dan's closing in. I get another shot at him, but Dan takes the kill, and that's the game. It's a really, really tense game. Probably one of the more enjoyable games I've had in World of Tanks in a couple thousand games. And really good work between the 3 of us to try and isolate and kill whom we could. And kind of a good showing of what kind of tanks these are. Killswitch may not have had a kill, but he had a really important role in the game. Not only spotting, kind of like I did with the T10 in the middle of the game, but also kind of consistent fire support. I don't really remember how much damage Dan or I did. I think we were both around 3,500, but it's not really the important part. I think the key plays in this were the T10 in the middle, around this sort of area, and then later on with the 432 and the Black Prince down here. Those were really, really important. The beginning of the game, just shooting into the city and getting what damage we could, that wasn't really important. I mean, it was important because that damage may have been required to kill those people later on, with other people's shots included, of course. But really, this T10 engagement here, killing the M103 here, the 432 and the Black Prince, those were the 3 or 4 engagements that I think really brought this game home. And Dan showing us the new tank, the M4A1. He played a really good game, got himself 5 kills. I denied him the Top Gun, as I denied him some shots in the beginning. So, my mistake. And hopefully I'll soon make this 3 hatchets instead of 1. I got my second one, but third one's going to be tough. Usually is. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.